In today's show, we're going to talk about PowerApps delete. So we're going to look at deleting a single item of a SharePoint list. We're going to look at deleting that item and all of its children or related items. We're also going to talk about delete confirmation. Then it just gives us an excuse to kind of use the remove function, the RemoveIf function, and just talk through some of the challenges of deleting. So nothing too crazy, nothing too complicated, but just a bunch of good core skills again. But first, here's our intro. Hi, my name is Shane Young with PowerApps 911. Those guys. And today is about PowerApps delete, or remove as the function is called. But what I want to do is I want to just talk a little bit about how to add a remove button or delete button to your galleries. And then we're going to do that with some SharePoint data. And then we're going to also go a step further, because who doesn't enjoy going a step further? And we're going to talk about removing related items as well, right? So if you have a parent-child relationship, we're going to look at how you would do that. And of course, because, deleting is scary, right? To this day, it still scares me. I had to put a client app this week and it freaked me out. Because deleting is scary, we're going to talk about doing a delete pop-up that kind of shows you like, hey, here's all the things you're about to delete. Are you really cool with this? Because once you press this button, it's gone. So it should be fun. All right, let's switch over to my desktop and I'll show you the app we're going to incorporate it into, and then we'll kind of go from there. If you're a longtime viewer, you've probably seen this app once or twice or a million times, because I keep using this to introduce different concepts. Because this whole idea of an expense report where I've got the parent record, right? The trip, is the name of the trip and all that data. And I have all the children items, all of the related expenses of the travel. That gives us a lot of scenarios that are very common in not only expense report apps, but timesheet apps, capital request apps, purchase order apps, right? There's a lot of apps where we do this type of relational data. So this one app, I use this for everything. And remember, as you're watching this, if you wanted to get this app, you want to download this app, you can just go to training.powerapps911.com and sign up for the curated library, and you get access to all the videos. And for apps or videos like this one, you can even download the app. So that way you can just get the working code, you don't have to build it yourself. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're not going to create any of this. We've done all this before. What I want to go look at here, though, is if I go to View and Edit, this is going to show us our gallery, right? So these are the different expense reports. And so if we scroll down here at the bottom, my February class, you can see that I had some different related data. So I had, for 888, that was the parent record. And then the children records, I had two separate data for Donut and OJ. And I had a third place where I was tracking the images. So what happened this week was one of my customers said, hey, we have an app like this. They were using it for inspections, right? I told you this is common setup. But so they wanted to add the ability to go over here to the Feb class, click delete, and have it cascade and delete everything. So that's what we're going to build today. But before we build the complicated part, we probably should talk about the easier part, right? So what we're going to do is let's just jump back over here. Let's tell this thing to resize so you can see stuff. Let's just do a new blank screen. We'll throw a gallery on here so we're all on the same page. Okay, so now with our gallery then, what I'm going to do is for the data source here, I'm going to search for SharePoint. There it is. And then we're going to add our simple SharePoint list that we use all the time, which is our Dear Employees list. So we'll go to PowerApps Videos. And then we'll scroll down here and do Employees, right? We're going to do the more complicated and harder data later, but let's start with the simple. So there you go. So there's a gallery, all the things you can do to customize it and such, right? And we scroll to the bottom. I don't even really have a good record to delete. That's a bummer, but that's okay. I'll show you how to undelete it even. Oh, yeah, right? Why not? So, unintended demos. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this icon, right? Hopefully you guys all know by now, you can just change icons to be different. So I'm like, hey, you can be a trash can for me now. That's the international symbol for deleting things, apparently. And so in its most simple form, to delete something in PowerApps, you're going to use the remove function. So remove, what's the name of your data source? In our case, it's employees. Do a comma. And so it's like, hey, what item do you want to remove? And so what I'm going to do is that you need to give it the record. When it says what item, it means what record from your data source or row, right? And so the idea here is that I could get this probably one of two ways kind of jumps to mind. One is I could use the lookup function. So I could say lookup from employees where ID equals this item's ID, right? And go and match and find the record that way. And that would give me a way to delete it. Or remember in gallery has returned this item. This item is a record from the data source. Well, if you look at the items property of the gallery, employees. So it would match. So if we close this, in its most simple form, that'll do exactly what you want to do, right? That's going to remove the item from the data source. Now, keep in mind, there is no confirmation or anything like that. But if we now just go down here, let's just go get rid of Steven. Nah, yeah, Steven, you're going bye-bye. So we're going to click on this. And as fast as we press it, it is gone. If we jump out to our SharePoint list, let me open that real quick, one sec. All right, there it is. And if we scroll to the bottom, the list now ends at Sarah, right? And there's Sarah. So Stephen is gone. So we have deleted Stephen. Now, right, I mean, it's done. It's over. Keep in mind, one of the great things about SharePoint as a data source is that SharePoint has a recycle bin. So I could go back over here and be like, hey, recycle bin. I really didn't mean to do that. And so look, there is Stephen's record. So I can just click on it and say, restore Stephen. And so then now if we go back over here, we would have to refresh our data source. So I would just go right here and say refresh. And Stephen's back at the back. Shoo, Stephen was not deleted from the employees list. He'll probably be happy to know he wasn't deleted. So that's how you do this, okay? So we have remove. So remember that recycle bin I just showed you, that was a function of SharePoint, not of PowerApps. So if you were removing from a different data source like SQL or something, then there's not a recycle bin necessarily, or Dataverse, there's not a recycle bin. So big pro for SharePoint right there. I had a recycle bin, which saved my butt with a customer the other day, but I'm hoping not to tell that story. I probably will though. Anyway, so there you go. So remove, that's how we get people out of here. Okay, so we're like, all right, that's pretty simple. So that's remove. There is another function called, let's throw a button over here. Nope, not over there. Let's throw it over here. Throw a button. So there's another function we'll look at here in a second called RemoveIf. And so RemoveIf, you give it a data, some employees, but then here you would write a condition. So if we wanted to delete everybody that was older than 12, right? We could just be like age, that's one of my SharePoint columns, less than 12. And if I press that button right now, anyone that's younger than 12, because I wrote it backwards, anyone that's younger than 12 would be automatically deleted. Once again, no confirmation, no magical undo. I mean, there's the SharePoint recycle bin, but no PowerApps-y way to undo it. But that's going to be RemoveIf. So that's going to become important as we kind of go break down the other side. So cool. All right. So that's the basics. Let's go back and do the harder stuff again. Right. So go back over here. I'm just going to say, hey, take me to view and edit. Okay. So if we look over here, first off, we have a gallery. All right. Just straight up pulling from Expense Master. And that is one of my SharePoint lists. All right. Let's just go over here. Now, if you can't immediately find your list, one of the things I love to remind people, go over here. Click at Expense Master and be like, edit data. This will just open us straight to that SharePoint list. Because the same thing, I want to see expense details. So I'm just going to say edit data. And so that'll open us over there. That's one of my tricks as I kind of go back and forth in clients' environments. Is how I get to this data pretty quickly. Okay, so Expense Master. So in here, now I need to keep the arrow because we're using it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click in, say the edit pencil. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to kind of move this one up here. And then we're going to insert another icon. So icons are over here, and we'll grab the trash one. And we'll kind of shrink it up. And we're going to put it right here. I don't know, right? You guys know I'm not the best at making things look nice on the fly. But there you go. We got a recycle bin. I'm going to make it red, so it's scary. Now, what I want to do here this time, though, is instead of just straight deleting that, we're going to add a pop-up or a confirmation screen that says, hey, did you really mean to delete this thing? Right? We want to be a little friendlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab myself a rectangle. So I'm going to go to icons, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then come up just a touch. There they are. And I'm going to spread this across my screen because we're going to do a pop-up. And so this is how we build our pop-ups, right? And I'm going to say, hey, your fill is 169, 169, 169, and then 0.75. You can kind of mess with this, be whatever you want, but I like that for that pop-up, or some people call them modals. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw another icon out here, another rectangle, not icon. These are called shapes, Shane. We'll throw this down here. I'm just going to make it white to make my life easier. So there you go. We got a nice little white pop-up. And then in that pop-up, I'm going to put a label. And so, because deleting scares me, especially because a lot of the PowerApps I build are in production, right? Truth hurts, but in reality, I build most of these things in production. So I'm going to kind of make it like this. I'm probably going to make it more like an 18 font and be like, we'll do this. We'll say, are you sure you want to delete the item with the title of, and then I'm going to do ampersand. Oh, ampersand is this character. And gallery, I don't know the name of that gallery. Oh, it's probably called Master Gallery. Let's assume it's called Master Gallery. Master Gallery, it highlighted, yay, good guess, Shane. Dot selected, dot title. And so then the idea there is it's going to show me the selected records title, because I want to get that kind of, feel that this is right. The other thing that I'm going to do, especially, maybe not for the actual end solution, but as while I'm testing and building and validating, I'll do something like this. Title and do this and dash ID, something like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say master gallery dot selected dot ID. So the idea is the idea is that I can then kind of validate what I'm seeing. All right. I'm going to throw two buttons on here. So we'll throw one right here and we'll make this button also red. Ooh, scary. We're going to set this one to be delete. And so this would be the button that would actually delete the data for us, to run the remove. And we throw another button and then we'll just throw it right here. And we're just going to call this one cancel. Okay. So that's all the visual pieces I need. So I'm going to now go back over here. I'm going to select all four of these. I'm holding down my control key and click on the rectangles, the labels, the buttons, all five. I'm going to throw them in a group. And I'm just going to call this delete stuff. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But there you go. And so now I'm going to say, hey, you're visible. I want you to be if var show delete is true. Right? So we can just do that. Now you notice a bunch of errors. That's because I forgot to actually define the variable already. Oops, pretty typical of me. I'll go right here. I'll say, hey, when you click on the trash can, all we're going to do when you click on the trash can is set var show delete to true. So then now if we go in here and we press the trash can on any of these records, let's go to Monday morning. There you go. You can see that it's the selected record and we're getting the UI we want. So on the cancel button, all we're going to do with the cancel button is say set var show delete to false. That's all we would do if we canceled. And then on the delete button, this is where you're going to do two things. First, we're going to say I want to remove from employees. And so it's not going to be the selected item this time, right? It's going to be, well, it is going to be a selected item. It's going to be master gallery dot selected. So it's not this item like it was before. Oh, it's not removed from employees. Duh. I was like, I know I'm doing something wrong. There you go. Expense master. So remove expense from expense master where the master gallery is a selected record. So by selecting that, remove it'll delete the data. And then we would do a semicolon. And we would then say set var show delete to false. So the little pop-up would go away, right? So a two-step process, but now we're getting our deleted data. Okay, so that's our typical confirmation style of removing. Now I want to go another step with you here though, right? So we've removed, but I told you that this stuff, if we go back in here and we cancel, and if we click on flow demo, which is 134,000, oh, here we go to the bottom. So if we go down here to Feb class, so we have all this related data. So in reality, if I'm going to delete Feb class, I want to delete Feb class, but I want to delete Donut, OJ, and the picture of Chewy sitting when he had a haircut. It looks really ridiculous. Poor dog. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Well, first thing I need to do is I need to go look over here and be like, all right, so look, it's giving me all the hints here. So this is showing me filter expense details. So that's the SharePoint list of the children objects. And I want to get where the master ID equals the selected ID. Oh, so I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to go back to my delete button. I'm going to have to trigger it, so we'll do this. So Mr. Delete button, when I press U, what I want to do, I don't want to really filter that data. I want to do the function called RemoveIf. So RemoveIf says, hey, give me the data source, expense details, and then give me a condition to meet. So give me all the places where master ID equals master gallery selected.id. Now, this is asking to get yourself in trouble right here though, right? Because one of the things I want you to take note of is that while looking at this, once this is gone, the gallery is going to refresh and it will not be selected anymore. This is a great way to end up deleting stuff you didn't mean to do. Yikes. So in reality, I don't want you to write your statement like this, okay? What I want you to do, let's go back over here, is I'm going to say, hey, when I press on, if I can click on it, when I click on this guy, before I show the pop-up, I'm going to say set var item to delete to be the gallery, master gallery dot selected. Okay, so that's going to load that record into that variable. Why is this important? Because this is only going to trigger when I press the button. So when I delete the first piece and the selected item in the gallery changes because of the data refresh, it's not going to get me in trouble, right? A lot of times the way you guys see me do this is I'll call this var record, right? Let's just do that because it's more typical of my style. But I would set var record to be the selected record. That way I know that that record can't change until I press a button again that changes it. So now that that is set, now we go back over here. Now we can look at the delete button. Oh, actually, the first thing I'd probably do is go over here and I would change this so that there's no confusion, right? I don't want to use the wrong thing. So I'd say, hey, you, show me var record. Hey, you, show me var record. Data didn't change, but you can tell which one I currently have selected. Let's cancel out of that one. Let's go back to the one we actually want. So we'll hit the delete button here. There you go. Okay. So things are the way we want them. Good, good. So then now if we go to delete, up here we would replace this with var record. And we'd say you are var record.id. Same exact results, but I'm now no longer dependent on the gallery not changing or modifying, right? Whatever's in that variable, that's what's getting deleted. And that variable is not getting updated, so it's just going to stay to that. Okay? So this would remove the parent item. This would then remove the children items, and then it would set this back to false, and we'd be good. Now, the other piece of this, though, so when I told you I was nervous, I have deleted all my customers' data in production twice, maybe once in the last week. And it was because of RemoveIf. RemoveIf scares the you-know-what out of me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here, I'm going to paste back in this code, and I'm going to say, hey, you, I want to count those rows. Count. Oh, I forgot to, sorry. Go right here, do that. I want to count those rows. And so the reason I want that is because that's going to hopefully show me 2, right? So this is my way of telling myself, this or number of children to be deleted. And so then now, right, we're going to get that. But so I can validate because I know that this is the same formula. I would, of course, change this from master gallery to var record. So there's no shenanigans. We don't want shenanigans. Not even cheeky shenanigans are good here, okay? But so now I can safely see that this would delete this record and it would delete 2 children records. This makes me feel better that I didn't write a formula that's accidentally going to delete a lot of stuff. Like 78,000 records. Shh. Okay, SharePoint recycle bin to the rescue. Ooh, on one of the customers. The other one, much more complicated. Anyway, so there you go. So then that gets us through deleting this and this. Now then this one, once again, I don't even remember how I did this. So I'm going to go over here and be like, oh, so over here I was using this filter, right? So this is how I was getting the picture of Chewy sitting. I don't know. I'm going to get rid of that one. So we'll go back over here now. We will press on the delete button again. We'll go here. And so I'm going to say, all right, we'll paste that in like we did last time because that worked pretty well. And we're just going to change the filter to be a RemoveIf. There you go. RemoveIf, master ID. And we're going to get rid of this. We're going to switch this back to var record so we don't have shenanigans. And so there you go. So we're going to delete the parent, we're going to delete the children out of a SharePoint list, and delete the children out of a SQL list, all by pressing one glorious little button. I would then go back to my label, and I'd say, I'll do this, ampersand, like this, and we'll say, number of SQL records to delete. Notice how I changed my syntax or my typing because I'm a weirdo, but I did. So count rows, paste in the filter for that. And you notice the delegation warnings there. We're not worried about that because it's getting the filtered data set back, which is always going to be, in my case, very small, and it's counting those rows. So even though I have delegation warnings, it's going to work just fine. But once again, because I've got it on the screen, it's real easy for you to feel good. Like, all right, cool. When Shane does this, it's going to delete literally the record with ID 112 out of here. So if we scrolled all the way to the bottom, there's 112. We're going to delete that record. And then we're going to delete 2 items out of this SharePoint list. And if we wanted, we could find them by saying, hey, give me where the master ID equals 112. Oh, there's Donut and OJ. Cool. So those 2 will get deleted. And I don't have the SQL table available, but it's going to delete 1 record out of the SQL table as well. Now, I will tell you guys, if you know a lot about this app, you know that there's also some Azure Blob storage stuff there. So I would also have to add a step to loop through and get all the Azure Blob, but that overcomplicates this video. But it's the same exact thing, right? We just loop through and grab those. So this is going to clean up all of our data. And because we put this warning on the screen, I feel pretty good that it's going to delete what I think it's going to delete, because that's what I'm really worried about. And so ultimately, then what I'm going to do, one more thing. So on this app, there is already a, why did I close the screen I want to work on? There is already a loading spinner, I believe. Is there? Or is there not? There is not. Okay. So then the other thing that I would probably do is throw a loading spinner on here, because when I hit delete, I want to make the user wait. So we'll throw that in here. All right, let's have fun. So we'll go here, or nope, we're going to throw image. I love when I decide to do things mid-demo. I'm going to make it just sit right like that. I'm going to, oh yeah, the spinner's in the app. There we go. I'll do that. I'm going to set its background to be white. Okay, so then I'm going to say your visible property is var show spinner. I already have not show delete, show spinner. I don't know why it's currently true, so we're just going to make up a new variable. So you're going to be var show delete spinner, because I don't know what that variable is doing. All right, it's mad. So the way that we're going to make this work is we're going to say, hey, when they press the delete button, before we remove anything, we're going to say set var show delete spinner to true. And then I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to the end and be like, all right, get rid of you. And then finally get rid of my spinner by changing this to false. Woo! This is pretty fun stuff. All right. I feel good. We're going to be brave. So what I do with the customers, I'll go over here and I'll be like, all right, show me all site contents. And so we're going to be like, all right, expense master has 98 and this one has 198. Well, that's kind of fortuitous, right? I can remember those numbers. Normally I screenshot them because I can't remember the numbers, but 98 and 198, feel good. I can remember those. We're going to go back over here. We're going to hit delete. We're going to be like, all right, we want to delete 1 record from there, 2 records from there. So when we're done, this should be 97 and this should be 196. We're going to hit delete and I'm going to cross my fingers. Is it over yet? Okay, it's over. Whew. All right, we'll go back over here. I'm telling you, I'm traumatized by RemoveIf. I've been hurt by it. So looking for 96 and 97, we'll hit refresh. I went right by it. 196 and 97, victory! Hopefully you're as excited as I am. Right, so that's really cool. So now we've added delete to our app, but we've made it better than just a delete button. So many people just add a simple delete button here that just removes stuff as fast as they click it. And that's really scary and dangerous for your users, right? Now I can click on this and get warned about what's going to happen and make an educated decision. So I like showing, data like this, obviously, a little more descriptive, or I mean, at a minimum, I'm going to put the title up here, but sometimes I put like all the details. Like for the one I did for the customer this week, it was the name of the community she had inspected, who inspected it, when they inspected it. Like it was all the details. So she could really look at it and be like, do I really want to get rid of that forever? So there you go. Remember, if you want to download this app, you can go to training.powerapps911.com and you can do the curated library. You can subscribe to that. You get this whole working app and 100 other apps, right? And all the videos it's a great little time. So go check that out. Hit the subscribe button, right? I'm in a mode right now. I need people to hit that subscribe button. People have been slacking lately. So if you have any questions, comments, any of that, leave me those below. Leave me ideas for future videos. I respond to all the comments. Sometimes I get a little behind. I'm almost caught up right now. I was like 3 weeks behind like earlier this week. Ew. But I'm only like 1 week behind right now. I'm making progress. Anyway, I get thousands of those, so it's a little rough. But yeah, so leave comments, things. If you need any help, we can help you over at PowerApps911.com. We like to help people build apps like this. That's where all these videos come from, is there are hundreds of customers that we build apps for. So, all right. And with that, I'm going to say thanks and have a great day. Before you go, be sure to click on the subscribe button over here so that way you'll be notified when new videos come out. If you need any help or you want to work together, whether your problem is big or small, check us out at PowerApps911. We do it all. I rhymed. Or if you're looking for more formal training offerings, we have those linked up here somewhere. So check them out. Thanks and have a great day.